welcome to another edition of FJA Math Notebooks. For this installation, we are going to be entering into our notebooks multiplying and dividing scientific notation, so title it that. You will need this piece of paper, scissors, glue, pencil, maybe a pen to make it colorful. And as always, we're going to start by cutting out the dotted lines. Just know you need both of these hearts for this activity. And then for this one, all you're going to do is you're just going to cut out half of it, and you only need one half. All right, fold your hearts, two hearts down the solid line, and then you're gonna glue them down so that they form a heart like here, and they open up on either side. All right, so we should have multiplying scientific notation on this side and dividing scientific notation on this side. Let's start with our notes for multiplying scientific notation. Open this up. I'm going to write the notes here, and then when I'm done, we'll read through them and you can write the notes. So remember, this is for multiplying scientific notation. Step 1, multiply the decimal numbers. Step 2, add the exponents of the powers of 10. Step 3, write the new power of 10 with the decimal number in scientific notation. And step 4, if the decimal number is greater than 10, convert to the correct scientific notation form, adjusting the exponent. Let's do a really quick example together. I'm going to write it here, and then we'll work it out together. All right, our problem is 4.4 times 10 to the 6 times 3.9 times 10 to the 4th. So first step, we're going to multiply the decimal numbers. So let's just isolate those. What we have there is 4.4 times 3.9. And if you work that out on your paper, you will get 17.16. 17.16. Step 2, add the exponents of the powers of 10. So remember, we're multiplying 10 to the 6 times 10 to the 4th, and the rule for exponents is that if we multiply 10 to the 6 times 10 to the 4th, our new exponent is going to be 10 to the 6 plus 4, which is going to equal 10 to the 10th power now. All right, now let's look at our decimal number. 3, write the new power of 10 with the decimal number in scientific notation. So our decimal number right here is 17.16. That's not correct scientific notation. To do correct scientific notation, the decimal must come after a number that is between 0 and 9. So because it's coming after the number 17, we have to move the decimal one place over. So 17.16 becomes 1.716. But because it has changed, because we moved the decimal over one place, we now have to increase our exponent behind our 10, and that's because in order to now move the decimal place over to where it would have been from here, if it went over 10 places from 17.6, it's got to move one more place just to get to the starting point before we can move it over. So our final answer here is going to be 1.716 times 10 to the 11th. And that is our final answer. All right, let's do the notes for dividing scientific notation. Again, I'll write them, you write them, and then we'll do an example. The notes for dividing scientific notation. Step 1, divide the decimal numbers. Step 2, subtract the exponents of the power of 10. Step 3, write the new power of 10 with the decimal in scientific notation form. Step 4, if the resulting decimal number is less than 1, move the decimal point to the right and decrease the exponent by the number of places. Write that down, pause the video here if necessary, and then write down our example and see if you can work it out on your own. We'll work it out together in 1 second. All right, so step 1 is we divide the decimal numbers. So we have 5.76 and we have 3.2 as our decimal numbers. So let's do that. 5.76 divided by 3.2. All right, so you can do that. Maybe we'll do that here just for a refresher. So it's 5.76 divided by 3.2. So we write 5.76 in our box divided by 3.2. We move our decimal over in both scenarios until the number outside the box has no decimal in it. So now what we have is we have 57.6. We're gonna erase that decimal. I moved it over just one space. Now I have 32. How many times does 32 go into 57.6? I'll put my decimal up here and now we can start going. Well, 32 goes into 57 one time. 1 times 32 is 32. Subtract that. 7 minus 2 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down our 6. So now we have 256. All right, so 32, let's see, 30 times 8 is 24. Or 30 times 8 would be 240. So let's try 8. Let's put 8 here. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 1 is 25. Oh, and look at that. We've got a 0 remainder, so our answer is 1.8. Now, step 2, subtract the exponents of the power of 10. So we've got 10 to the 9th divided by 10 to the 3rd, which means we can go 10 to the 9 minus 3 power equals 10 to the 6th. And then we're just gonna rewrite this here as our final answer of 1.8 times 10 to the 6th. Our next step is going to be with this piece of paper right here. I'd like you to glue that in on this side. And for today, just complete problems 1 and 2, okay, in your notes. You do that on your own, following our rules. And then once we get to dividing, complete some other ones. And this should be a good practice. So if you are feeling rusty on this skill, please go back and do some of these practice problems following along with our rules from here. And it should help you stay fresh on how to multiply and divide scientific notation.